Hi, I'm Katie Todd. Last week we had Katie's mailbag and we had a really heart-rending message from Michelle, who was in a marriage where her husband is professional and busy and away and likes to play golf and is always yearning for grass being greener on the other side. He'd like to live in another country. They have 2 sons, and Michelle's anguish was very, very poignantly spelt out about how she doesn't feel valued, but as a mum, the pain of feeling like her kids were not appreciated and valued. I answered that question for her last week, and it has consumed me for the entire week ever since, because it's something that I can relate to. And I really wanted to address what was going on. And afterwards I thought, you know, in many marriages, and I've been doing this work for 20 years, and I could also say for my first marriage, in many marriages, someone leaves years before there's an actual breakup. Someone can be very unavailable. They've just shut down. They're not there. They're busy. They're still the provider. The bills get paid. We have some interaction. We have some discussion. But emotionally, they've left. They've got no intention of upsetting their life and having the disruption of literally separating and dividing the assets. And particularly for some people, the assets are all important and security. So they keep going and their lives become more and more about other things. One party in that relationship can start to feel very dissatisfied. When we have this situation happen, and I see this all the time, it's very distressing. And then eventually, like perhaps in Michelle's case, she may be the one who says, I'm going to leave. Now it can look like she was the baddie. She broke up the family. However, her experience of the marriage is her husband left years ago. He was not available, he was not there, he was not committed, he was not putting in anything to the relationship. To take this on another level though, it's easy to play the victim in life, and a theme that you're going to notice when I'm teaching on these TV episodes, it's not always easy, is that we're responsible for where we are and where we place ourselves. In my marriage, I know that I came to learn some very important lessons. We all do, whether they're marriages for life or just for a period. They're very valuable and important lessons. They are reflections of issues that are very dear to us, that we have, and that we've brought with us from our childhood. In this relationship that we're talking about with Michelle, it seems like abandonment, emotional abandonment, could be a key issue, and many of you are going to relate to that. You can keep banging your head up against a brick wall, trying to get them to care, trying to get them to nurture, trying to get them to be loving, interested. And it's not going to happen. They're not there. As long as we keep placing ourselves there where we're not loved and not appreciated, who is at fault? Why do we keep putting ourselves there? It's like we want to prove, yes, I can be loved here. When a person has this situation, often they will have found one parent or both parents were unavailable to them. And so when they're out there dating, unconsciously they'll have a radar. You get a room of 200 people. They'll have a radar. And they'll find the person who will be emotionally unavailable to the exact same degree that they came from. They'll fall in love with that person. And it's as if for the child, if I can get you to love me in the way that I wished my mum or dad or both had loved me, that will heal that wound. But of course, that never happens. You find the person who will repeat exactly where you've come from. So what's our part in this? What's our lesson? Our lesson is to realise it's our responsibility to put ourselves where we are loved. It is our responsibility to love ourselves enough to see when we're not loved. That can be that person's role for us, to reflect our own self-abandonment. They'll keep abandoning us if we keep abandoning ourselves by being there. In this way, we're not playing the victim. The bonus, the huge liberation of taking responsibility for all that goes on is we're not the victim. If you're the victim, you can't do anything about it. I'm interested in empowering people. Now this can be hard and confronting, and it has been for me. I've lived a life with lots of challenges, just like you have. There have been times I wanted to blame and tantrum. Trust me, I'm good at it. And surprisingly, I'm quite articulate. But it's not about that. It doesn't get me anywhere. It just traumatises me more, and I keep getting nothing. The change comes when you say, and maybe Michelle, this is the question, why do I keep placing myself in a marriage where I'm not loved? Why do I keep placing my sons in a family where they are not loved? Perhaps I need to value myself, and then I will be valued by other people and maybe a partner down the road. It's not about the other, it's always about our relationship with ourselves. I see this time and time again, and people will stay trapped in marriages that are loveless, where the actions and the words of love are not evident, for security. Purely because they don't want to go without the money, but you pay such a high price. If you are complaining and saying, I wish to be loved, then ask yourself, am I in a loving place? Ask yourself, where were we when we got together? Was this the most compatible love match of the century? Or was there a little bit of relief that, oh, finally I found someone who will share their life with me and will make it work somehow, but without really knowing whether you had the skills or what it took to get there. So I have great compassion for those of you who find yourself at this really knife-edge place in relationships. The first point, love yourself. If you were your own best friend, where would you place yourself? Would you stay in a friendship where you were treated like that? Would you call it a friendship? When you are with a lover and with a partner, you need to be loved and you need to love yourself. If that is not there, perhaps the most loving thing is to move on again, where you can create a home of love for yourself and your children, and the husband can take a place in their lives where he takes full responsibility for his relationship. And then you can attract a different quality of love to your life when the time is right. Thank you.